Hello, I'm Patty, and today we are going to be talking about death and dying. So, my first example is the variations of death and dying and how people handle them in different cultures or different countries. It was a short part in the book, but I actually looked up more to this on how different cultures actually practice death, how they either celebrated it or mourned it, what their practices were, and how they felt or viewed death. So I found some interesting examples, and I'm going to go over a few of those. In Korea, people actually take ashes after cremation and they have them refined and turned into colorful beads, which they hang in their homes. And it's usually belongs to a person of the member of that home. So it would be somebody living in that home. It was one of their relatives. And they put it on display in the home to recognize that there is a loss. Also, in China, white is the mourning color and not black, which I found very interesting. And it's actually considered unlucky to get anything that is white, such as white flowers. So don't do that. Sue Bryant, the person who wrote the article where I got this information from, stated that funeral rituals may vary according to age or status of the individuals, and they can go on for as long as 100 days, such as in mourning for a Buddhist. These rituals are very elaborate, include professional wailers or people who are actually paid to cry, and they actually learn facts about the people to be able to do this for others. In Japan, death is actually viewed as a form of freedom or liberation. Acceptance is deemed very important in life. Condolences are provided by a monetary donation from an envelope, and it would be a white envelope wrapped in a black ribbon. Bodies are cremated, but the ashes are often separated from the bones, and these remains are sometimes divided up between the temple of the family and the employer of the departed. The dead are remembered during a 3-day holiday in August called Oban, where the spirits of the ancestors are believed to return to the family home. Also, Muslims always bury their deceased. They bury them facing Mecca. They do not cremate because they believe that there will be a physical resurrection of the body on Judgment Day. Death is usually a community affair, so sometimes you will see people that didn't even know the deceased show up at the funeral. And they do not promote, but they do, feel it's okay to cry or to mourn, but not excessive wailing or, excessive crying. So here, we'll just do a couple more because you can read the other ones on the slide. Jewish tradition calls for a quiet mourning and reflection. Withdrawal from normal activities is perfectly normal. It's called Shiva, and it's honored for a month and on yearly anniversaries. Dia de los Muertos, which a lot of people actually know what that is. It's called Day of the Dead in Mexico. This holiday dates back all the way to the Aztec Empire, which is pretty amazing. And over the centuries, it's blended with the Catholics' All Souls Day to be a celebration of the dead. And it incurs lots of colors, lots of sugar, candy, things like that. And that usually, and that occurs after the Day of the Dead. After the All Souls Day. So, in Ghana, dancing brings joy to a funeral. And the pallbearers are lifting the mood of the funeral by carrying flamboyant coffin-carrying dances. And in the United States, we have so many different ways of viewing it just because we are a melting pot in itself. So when you look at these things and you go through this, we can often see that these cultural understandings would be very important to various doctors, nurses, so they could recognize different cultural differences that people might have during the dying process, or respect for the dying after they have passed. Also, funeral homes would have to be able to respect the cultural wishes of the family as well. In the United States, we do, like I said, various ways of burial, or cremation, mausoleums, spreading of ashes, cryonics or freezing, and above ground burial is often seen in places such as New Orleans or in vaults. Some cultures practice the solitude and are withdrawn, while others celebrate and dance. And some believe in reincarnation. Others believe that when you're gone, you just pass. Others believe in heaven and hell. And still other cultures believe that ghosts come to haunt the family and meddle in your affairs. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was the different perceptions of death. Sorry, I'm turning the page. All right. The different perceptions of dying. So this would be when a person is dying, how they're going to feel. So one of the first stages is denial, or not believing the circumstances are real or true. So often they will deny it, saying, I don't have cancer. I don't have ALS, or, maybe they were in an accident and they refuse to believe that they may be passing, or have a chance, that they might be passing. The next would be anger. They start to get rage or frustration at the realization that it is in the final stages. And after that, they may bargain or try to plead with God, pray to God, beg medical staff, try to barter, or ask for more time, and things like that. After this happens is depression. It's a state of despair, depression, anguish, and a sense of hopelessness is what can evolve after that. Lastly, acceptance. A dying person works through the preceding emotional responses, and in turn they come to terms with the situation, and in this case that is where they can find peace and comfort with their family, their friends, and their loved ones, as well as caretakers and hospice, spouses and children, medical staff, or any sort of comfort care. They have more of an understanding of it, and they bring more peace to them. And a lot of times spiritual aspects such as pastors or ministers or clergy can help somebody during this stage to feel even more at peace. So perspectives on bereavement, it usually starts with numbness. So this is going to be after the death, and it's going to be the people who are still alive are going to feel this way. So the bereaved are often feel numb, in a state of shock on reality. They don't believe it's actually happened or that's occurred. The mind and body actually will dull the effects so that the bereaved does not overcome immediately by sudden loss. After that stage is yearning, or the need to have that individual back. This is when agony occurs, separation anxiety, extreme grief, weeping, restlessness, fear, anger, insomnia, questioning, self-blame. All these emotions come during this time. It's also called the pains of intense grief. But after this is over, you usually see disorganization and despair. That is a full realization that the individual is really gone. And individuals can fall into depression, have apathy, despair, or hopelessness. They have difficulties managing their life skills, occupations, and social involvement during this phase. After this phase is over, we often see reorganization occur, where they pick themselves up, they put their lives back together, they get their lives back in order, and they develop new activities and new attachments that are healthy in their lives. This is important for doctors to know so they know how to respond to people who have lost somebody, as well as anyone who runs support groups, therapists, counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, anybody who might talk to somebody dealing with intense grief or loss. This is also very helpful for anybody in the clergy, ministers, spirituality, and it's also important for friends and family to understand these things as well, especially for those who have lost children or close family members, very close friends, spouses. All right. So lastly, we're going to go to the comforting side of death. This can help the dying as well as families and friends. Examples are hospice, which is a program supporting individuals who are dying as well as their family. It's a caring form of care for a client, not a curing philosophy. There's also palliative care, which is a medical care that's usually brings comfort to the dying individual so that they no longer have to feel any pain that would be physical. It also can bring about mental, spiritual, and emotional needs to make it less painful for the individual and family as well. And oftentimes the doctors and the people doing the palliative care will allow family members to make decisions with the patient so that it's more of patient controlled and self-will and self-determination so that they feel that they have some sort of choice and control in their passing. It leaves also a sense of comfort and dignity in the dying process. And there's also self-help groups for those who are dying or for families who have lost somebody or are going to lose somebody that can help them. This also, these things are important for anyone who runs hospice, support groups, therapists, psychologists, anybody in the medical field, doctors who give palliative care, as well as nurses. Families should be aware of the comforting side of death so that they can make it possible for these things to happen for those who are dying. So, you can answer the questions and just write down what your answers are so that I can read them. I'm looking forward to reading all of your answers, and I'm also want to say it's been a great class and I've enjoyed all of your videos and all the hard work that we've all put in. So good luck with writing your papers, and thank you.